Hello beautiful people, this is Dawn, your tarot teacher here. Join me now as we continue our journey and step into the card of death and rebirth, the death card itself. This card is one of the most misunderstood cards in the entire deck, but it isn't about physical death, not necessarily. The death card represents that moment when the old self dissolves and a new, truer aspect of us emerges. It's known as the key of deliverance, the gateway to deeper awareness. Once we die, symbolically speaking, we become more alive than we have ever been. We find authentic life only by letting go of attachment to our past identity, masks and fears. Fear holds us back from taking risks, exploring new paths and living fully. As we journey through the symbolism of the death card, we come to understand that profound transformation is never just a single event. It is a process of deep surrender and awakening. Before we can experience true renewal, there is a necessary letting go, a release of our old patterns, identities and stories that no longer serve our growth. This is not an ending for its own sake, but a sacred passage that prepares us for something greater. This card also represents higher spiritual initiation. To be initiated is to be twice born, the first birth into the physical world and the second into spiritual remembrance. This is where we remember that we are eternal spiritual beings, extensions of the limitless light, the Ein Sofer. This card is therefore the great initiator, the force that consumes, renews and regenerates. This card is number 13 in the Major Arcana. Contrary to popular belief, 13 is not an unlucky number. It holds a sacred significance. While 12 represents the number of manifestation, 13 symbolises the transition that carries us beyond form. It embodies the ending that paves the way for rebirth, reflecting the profound cycle of transformation and renewal inherent in the death card. Numerologically, 1 plus 3 equals 4, linking death to the Magician, which is number 1, the Empress, number 3, whose energies culminate in the Emperor, number 4, the card of form, structure and mastery. Death, therefore, is the transformative bridge between creation and reformation. It clears the ground so that new structure and order can arise. In Kabbalah and the Tree of Life, the Hebrew letter Nun symbolises death, transformation and the mystery of renewal. Though its literal meaning is fish, a creature of flowing life, it also signifies the soul's descent into the watery depths and its eventual rebirth. On the Tree of Life, Nun corresponds to Path 24. This connects Netzach with Tiferet. This path reveals the secret of endings that are, in truth, beginnings in disguise. Now let's take a closer look at the imagery of this card. A skeleton rides a white horse. The white horse represents purity, spiritual momentum, and the unstoppable force of transformation, carrying the true self forward through the cycles of death and rebirth with clarity and purpose. The skeleton atop of the horse is clad in black armour that radiates both invulnerability and mystery, an embodiment of the hidden depths of existence. In its grasp it holds a black flag adorned with a white 5-petaled rose, a symbol of purity, innocence and the quintessence of spirit. And if you remember, the only other time that you will see this white rose is in the card of the Fool. The skeleton itself represents the true self, the enduring essence that lies beneath the layers of ego, illusion and identity. Stripped of worldly attachments, it stands as a stark reminder that beneath all masks and roles there is a core that remains untouched and eternal, the true self. The 5-petaled rose, shaped like a pentacle, evokes the 5th element of spirit, the unseen force that animates life and connects all things. Together, the rider and the rose speak of transformation, the shedding of false selves, and the return to the sacred truth of being. Riding in from the west, the realm of endings and the setting sun, the skeleton arrives as a symbol of transformation and transition. Before him lie 5 figures, each offering a unique gift to the moments of passage. The fallen king presents the lesson of impermanence, his lifeless form a reminder that even power must yield to time. The grieving woman offers sorrow and memory, her tears honouring love and loss. A child steps forward with flowers, a gesture of innocence and hope, representing renewal and the promise of life yet to come. The high priest raises his hands in solemn invocation, offering not only prayer but the rites of higher initiation, guiding the soul through the mysteries of death and rebirth and opening the way to spiritual transcendence. So we know by now that in tarot symbolism, male figures represent the conscious mind, female figures represent the subconscious, and the children are the co-creation of the two, the creative result of inner union. The priest stands as the hierophant, if you will, of the mysteries, the one who understands that death is an initiation. This card teaches that no one escapes this process. Death in this image is larger than all the other figures in this card and a reminder that transformation is universal and inevitable. The blanket covering the fallen king serves as a shroud of transition, symbolizing the surrender of worldly power and the dissolution of the ego at the threshold of transformation. The golden staff on the ground symbolizes the fall of worldly authority and the surrender of ego before spiritual transformation. The blue and white garments worn by the child and the woman represent spiritual truth and purity. Blue for divine wisdom and compassion, white for innocence and the untainted essence of spirit. The shadows cast across the card evoke the lingering fears and unconscious attachments that must be confronted and released in the process of spiritual initiation and rebirth. In the background, we see that a river flows. This is the stream of consciousness which originated with the High Priestess. And on that stream, a ship sails towards the east, and the rising sun can be seen between two towers. This shows the soul's return to source, a journey from darkness to illumination, from west to east, from ending to beginning. The sunrise represents renewal, hope, and the eternal cycle of life. What seems like an ending is only a new dawn. The esoteric title of this card is The Child of the Great Transformers and the Lord of the Gate of Death, and expresses how this card embodies the forces of transformation and stands as the guide and guardian at the threshold between endings and new beginnings. Now let's take a look at the elemental, astrological and planetary correspondences of this card. Scorpio's element is water. This sign is both fixed and ruled by Pluto, with Mars also playing a significant role. In astrology, water elements symbolize intuition and emotion. Scorpio's fixed quality highlights its determination, while Pluto and Mars add complexity, passion and strength. Combined with these traits, this makes Scorpio an especially intense and transformative sign. Scorpio presides over the 8th house, which encompasses matters related to death, sexuality, regeneration, and collective transformation. It represents deep emotional power, hidden forces, and spiritual renewal through crisis. The core meanings of this card are transformation, renewal, regeneration, change, transition, endings, and of course, beginnings. When death appears, it announces that something has reached its natural conclusion, a phase, identity, belief, relationship, or situation that served its purpose, and now it's time to release it. Holding on only delays the inevitable transformation. In its shadow aspect, it can manifest in your life as resistance and fear of change, stagnation, refusal to move on, or suppression of emotional pain, and the inability to express it. The key lesson is surrender. Let go of what no longer serves so that new life can emerge. In essence, death is not the end. It is the threshold, the passageway between worlds. It invites us to release the old, embrace change, and remember that every ending carries the seed of new creation, no matter how difficult it is. The key lesson here is surrender. Let go of what no longer serves so that new life can emerge. In essence, death is not the end. It is the threshold, the passageway between worlds. It invites us to release the old, embrace change, And remember that every ending, no matter how difficult, carries the seed of new creation. Death is the moment of truth, where we are stripped of illusion and the eternal self remains. This is the alchemy of transformation. This is the great initiation. And so the fool meets death and learns that all things must change, that every ending is but a doorway to a deeper truth. From the ashes of death, the fool steps forward toward temperance, where the art of balance, integration, and divine harmony awaits. Join me next as we step into the alchemy of the Temperance card.